SAUN, it was on the radio. I can't believe it. SAUN Edward has a morning show.
Hey, SAUN Edward in your ear, 80cities1.com. We down here in Charleston, South Carolina, where the actual incident happened. His brother was murdered. I was murdered right behind me. If you look right behind, over my left shoulder, you actually see the actual memorial they set up for Walter Scott right here down in Charleston, South Carolina. Right here, Atlanta's Incredible Radio, WIGO 1570. SAUN Edward in your ear. We here in Charleston, South Carolina on Reggie Gay Gospel Show. I'm here with Senator Marlon Kimpson of District 42, the actual district that the incident Walter Scott. Tell me about it. What happened down here?
Well, we had an unfortunate incident where an unarmed African-American male pulled over for a traffic light, tail light violation, broken tail light, was ultimately gunned down by one of the North Charleston police officers.
Now, I'm hearing the story was told one way, but of course the video reported something totally different.
Well, as in a lot of cases with police shootings, if you look at the narrative in the officer's statements, they most often don't comport with what's shown on the video. And in this case, it was really no different than many cases across the country, where the officer says one thing, but the video evidence shows another thing. And that's why I have authored a body camera legislation to make body cameras mandatory to record incidents immediately upon an encounter with a citizen to the end. And so this legislation was filed back in December. And I'm pleased to say we've had some movement in subcommittee. Since this incident, we've picked up bipartisan support, most recently the Republican chairman of the Transportation Committee and Senator Paul Thurman have agreed to co-sponsor the legislation.
Here again, this is SAUN Edward in your ear, Reggie Gay Gospel Show here in Charleston, South Carolina with Senator Marlon Kimpson of District 42. Now, because of this last incident, you can't agree that maybe the momentum is being pushed forward for these definitely body cameras.
Well, I hope so. You know, the unfortunate thing is it takes a horrific and tragic incident like this to happen for folks to get on board, but it's better than now than never. And so we still got a lot of work to do because there's still some resistance to enacting this legislation and making it mandatory. But you know what? Smart people are in the room and we can figure this out. We can figure out how to fund it. If we can fund Glocks and semi-automatic weapons and tasers, we can certainly fund body cameras.
Now, Senator, I must say, just because we have a video doesn't mean you're guilty. So what as a community, what should we do to make sure this particular police officer is put in jail?
Well, he is in jail.
In jail to stay?
Because of the video. If we did not have a video, he would not be in jail today. That doesn't mean he wouldn't be ultimately found guilty and been put in jail. But the video sped the process up. So it's not a solve-all. Body cameras aren't a solve-all. We still have legitimate issues, particularly of race and color in the United States, and Charleston, South Carolina is no different. But it's a good faith start to bring transparency to the system so that the justice that's administered could be administered more rapidly.
You're right here currently in District 42, your district. What are the people saying? How do they feel? Are they feeling safer? Do they feel rewarded because this latest incident of this cop being caught killing this dear brother?
Well, we're here on the east side, largely predominantly African-American area, and people are calm. The consciousness of the community is raised and people are engaged in a debate in a constructive way. And so I think the people have responded. It started off with the family. They showed tremendous courage and they asked this community to be patient until the facts came out. And I think the community in large part responded that way.
Hey, SAUN Edward in your ear, right here on Reggie Gay Gospel Show, live talking to the Senator Marlon Kimpson, District 42. SAUN Edward in your ear on the Reggie Gay Gospel Show, right here in Charleston, South Carolina. I'm talking to a dear brother here. Now, you mentioned about the ministers.
Yes, sir.
Now, have the ministers been active in the community prior to the situation here?
No, sir. And I'm challenging these ministers to be ministers again, because they can stop a lot of these problems going on today by being minister, because they're a God-fearing man. And when you see a God-fearing man pass through a neighborhood and folks and don't stop and talk to folks, then I got a problem with that.
Now, you feel like the minister is not as active as they should be?
No.
I mean, what do you want as a community leader here? What do you want for the ministers?
I had, and I'll go back to when I was a teenager, I had a minister, God bless his soul, J.Z. Gibson. Got out in the community and interact with young men my age, okay, and taught us the things of life, how to survive, by teaching us how to do brick mason, plumbing, electrical, painting, and all that. So that showed he cared about us. So that changed the heart. You got to change the heart of a man before you can change a system, okay? You got to change the way somebody think, and you can change everything in life.
Hey, SAUN Edwin, you're here, right here in Charleston, South Carolina, talking to the citizens, also the elected officials, about what's going on here in this killing of this dear brother, Walter Scott. Reggie Gay Gospel Show, live here in Charleston, South Carolina.
I can't believe it. SAUN Edwards on the radio. I can't believe it. SAUN Edwards has a morning show.